guys see what the fuck I'm playing.
What are you doing? What's up with you?
I mean,
Were you not here for that, man?
it's weird because you gotta move for
5 minutes ago.
I'm just sipping.
I'm fit. That's how I'm doing.
Well, I'm just here sipping wine
No,
on my Lego Batman cup
From McDonald's.
from
I
McDonald's.
haven't seen those in a
No,
Wait, that's from the
fuck,
first movie,
okay.
right? The Lego movie?
no.
Yeah.
Damn, it's been a while.
Sorry.
Ah.
to us.
There.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna.
I don't know how to transition out of that.
Yeah, no, we kind of made it
Nah.
a little bit. So,
God dang it! Take my Luna, bitch.
Yes, I think.
Take
okay,
it.
well, let me tell you, I am.
God dang. This is really making me
I
concentrate.
am disgusted.
I think I kind of glanced over at your notes.
Yeah,
Boom.
I didn't want you to.
Whoa! I can do that. That's so
I
cool.
mine.
Well,
Oh, this is like great for meditation, actually.
I did not make you tell me that.
Ah,
You said,
okay.
"Hey,
I'm thinking this
here's
game.
what I'm doing."
It's like way better than
And I
Forms.
was doing it, and you came over and
I remember playing those games,
So,
right?
I kind of want to preface.
Nope.
Preface?
Preface.
Yeah.
I want to
Pronounce it.
preface this by saying,
Ah,
I
shit.
realize
Got one.
that the name of
Fuck
our
yeah. Okay.
podcast is Get Spooky Podcast, but I think there are some situations that happen where people or governments or groups of people do
There you go.
things that it's
Okay.
very spooky.
Like I don't use this. I don't use the analog. I have to move the controller.
Crazy.
Well, I just did a true crime story last episode.
Yeah, but I feel like now I'm gonna do something. Mine isn't true crime.
Got one. Yeah. Okay. Like when you get that red thing, you go to a different dimension
Well,
again.
don't tell me.
But you get
Well, I
points.
don't want to.
So, I don't know. I just started playing this.
I want
Like,
them to
what is
hang
that?
on to
I
the
never
wig.
seen that. And I'm like, is that Mars with a Luna?
Fascinating.
Like with a moon?
Snatched. They're gonna be snatched. Probably not, because we've heard of really fucked up things that have been done up to this point. So, I don't know, but this was very like eye-opening for me. Well, anyways, let me just jump into it. Okay, so what I'm talking about today is the GIC, and I'm just gonna give you that acronym for now. I'm not gonna explain what it is.
Fuck off.
So anyways, okay, so at the start of World War II, medical researchers were pushed by the US government to further the knowledge and find more viable treatments for STDs. Soldiers were going overseas, fucking them girls, getting them STDs and venereal
It gets
diseases,
bigger.
and it was making them, it was putting them out of commission. It was estimated that at the time, venereal diseases
Okay.
would affect
Boom. Okay, got you. Okay, go to the different
35,000
vortex.
soldiers, which would equal 2 armed divisions, and it would have them out for an entire year. So that's a lot of people to be out at one time when they needed them to be, you know, to be
I thought this
in
game
100% health, ready to serve. It was World War II. There was a lot of shit going on back then. Back then, the only effective treatment they had at that point was daily injections of silver propionate and penicillin, but as a post-STD exposure treatment. And that silver propionate was actually injected directly into the penis.
Oh.
It was very painful, and it just, a lot of the soldiers didn't want to continue doing those daily maintenance drugs. It was like, can we find a better way? As if women don't deal with birth control every day that they have to take and fucking...
Oh god, do you remember that whole mess with male birth control? And there were so many men like
It
against
makes me
it.
feel weird. It makes me dizzy.
Oh, it does.
It's like
every woman on the planet just rolled their fucking eyes
we deal with that shit.
unanimously.
The weight gain or weight loss, it's just crazy.
And the thing is with the male contraceptive, like the side effects weren't even that bad. It was
not
just like that,
extreme, right?
Yeah.
It was just slight discomfort. And they were like,
Oh, we wouldn't want to discomfort them. Jeez, the bare fucking minimum.
So
Wasn't I talking to you the other day about like they're not even, some people aren't even setting the bar high. I don't know what we were talking about. And I was like, dude, for some people the bar is on the floor.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and it's with a lot of things nowadays. The bar's on the floor.
Yeah.
Heighten your standards.
Sorry, continue.
Okay, after the push to further the knowledge about the treatments, 2 doctors, Dr. John F. Mahoney and Dr. John C. Cutler, participated in what is known as a Terre Haute prison experiments in Terre Haute, Indiana, from 1943 to 1944. And so what they did is researchers injected or placed various strains and concentrations of gonorrhea into the penises of test subjects. So these prisoners that were in the penitentiary, the jail, what's the word? These prisoners that were in the prison.
Okay.
That sounds weird to me. But anyways, they would just inject them with all these different types of strains and try to infect them. But after several months, they concluded that the methods they were using to induce the infection were unreliable, and they couldn't get any definite answers about the preventative medicine and what they could do. Like, they weren't getting the answers they were looking for. I want to add that in these experiments, the prisoners were given disclosure, full disclosure. They consented to the procedure, and they were given $100, which back then, I don't know how much that was, a certificate of merit, and a letter of commendation to the parole board at the end of the study. So this study in Indiana laid the groundwork for the GSE. The GSE was an American research project that was conducted from 1946 to 1948. It is the Guatemalan syphilis experiment.
Oh.
Yes. Very interesting. So the intent of this research project was to test the effectiveness of different medications in the prevention of symptoms caused by an infection with sexually transmitted diseases, or as the kids call it nowadays, STDs. These medications include antibiotic penicillin and Orvis and Nafarsin. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's an arsenic-based agent.
Okay.
These experiments were funded by a grant from the U.S. National Institute of Health, or the NIH, to the Pan American Sanitary Bureau and involved multiple Guatemalan government departments.
Wow.
Yes. What I found out as I was doing research is that the Guatemalan government did know that these studies were happening, but the U.S. wasn't disclosing all of the details of what they were doing. So they pretty much showed up and were like, hey, we're going to test like the effectiveness of these things with venereal diseases, but they were doing some other shit. They were on some other shit, let me tell you. So a lot of the diagnostic and laboratory work that was done at a 300 hospital bed that was specifically built in Guatemala City, Guatemala, for these studies. Guatemala City was chosen because of its large population of prisoners and other potential test subjects. The doctors that are working on these experiments were Dr. John Charles Cutler, which was the guy at the Terre Haute, Indiana experiments, Dr. John F. Mahoney, Dr. Genevieve Stout, Dr. Siemens, and Dr. Salvador. With Dr. Cutler and his colleagues from the United States Public Health Service, the USPHS, collaborated with local physicians and gained access to public centers, government hospitals, mental institutions, and orphanages. So they pretty much gained trust and access to a lot of different types of people to do these experiments. And none of them consented to these experiments. So they just pretty much showed up, and they were just doing these things to these indigenous people. You know, like these people of color, they didn't care.
Yeah.
I think the difference was between the inmates or the prisoners that were in Indiana. Most of them were white.
Mm-hmm. And consented to it.
And consented, like they got something out of it. So the way syphilis exposure occurred was in sex workers. They were injected into the cervix. The syphilis was injected straight into the cervix. Prisoners were infected through injection of direct sexual contact with sex workers, inoculation via abrasion of the penis or cisternal puncture. And a cisternal puncture is an insertion of a needle below the occipital bone at the back of the skull to access the cerebrospinal fluid. Psychiatric patients were infected orally or through needle abrasion or cisternal puncture. So similar to the prisoners, kind of.
There you
the way
go.
the infected subject with gonorrhea was sex workers were again given shots to their cervixes.
Ooh, I almost had him. What the fuck? What was that? That was scary as fuck.
Or sometimes urethral inoculation. Psychiatric patients were infected through inoculation of the urethra.
Oh, there's another one. What the fuck is that, dude?
Yes, so they were out there infecting everybody. Like whoever, I guess whoever couldn't consent, whoever couldn't, you know what I mean?
No,
like they were just
fuck.
out there. Here you go. Here's some gonorrhea. Here's some syphilis. Here's some cancroid. Cancroid, actually, which I looked up because I didn't know what it was. We didn't really remember in like health class. We didn't really talk about cancroid. We talked about like syphilis, you know,
got that one. There you go. Got that one.
Warts, HIV/AIDS, and stuff like that. But I don't ever remember cancroid being one of the ones that we talked about. So what
Is it
it
like
is an
what the fuck?
ulceration
It's
of
like
the
an
lymph
evil
nodes in the groin,
jellyfish.
and I made the unfortunate decision to look up pictures, and it was fucking
What the fuck?
disgusting.
Oh, it took
Yes,
like
they were
one
like
thing.
oozing
Whoa, they
sores.
take
I was
it.
like, oh shit, this is gross.
I can already tell this story is gonna be
It's like people.
bad to make jokes at.
Yeah, no, I feel.
And we're not even
I
doing
feel
yoga, but
very
this is like
uncomfortable.
meditation,
Like
so
I
that
know I feel like
kind
I'm a
of
really funny person, and like comedy is the way
working.
that
I feel bad for
I deal
you,
with a lot
but
of things.
I'm with you right here.
It just makes me
on
feel
this
bad
little
about to joke about something.
thing
Some, like
that
when
Nervous laughter.
yeah,
It's like a
nervous
little
laughter when I fuck
app
up. I like to
that
laugh at
eats
myself and be like, oh, what a dumbass. I
Which is
can't
your
believe I just
morning,
fucking
we
did
go to
that.
sleep at 3, that's all you see. I
It's
see
the
it,
way
it's
that I
scary
deal
as
with
fuck.
it.
I'm
And
like, wow,
it's just,
that's
I
a brain.
really fucked these people over. They really just came on through and just infected everybody with these fucking venereal diseases and didn't give a fuck in the name of science. It's just, it's crazy to me. And like, you don't really hear about it. People don't really talk about it. I did learn about this in school.
Yeah, I've never heard about this before. I knew that there were, especially after, during and after World War II, like especially during the Cold War, there were a lot of operations with the U.S.
Fuck you.
Involving themselves
You
in like
evil,
Central
evil,
American
bloody bitch.
revolutions.
Get the fuck away.
That's why a lot of like people in El Salvador and Nicaragua and Guatemala,
Boom, I'm going.
and especially
Boom,
like
I'm out.
Honduras too, like they are all very anti-American imperialism for this reason. Like the U.S. got involved with a lot of things that they really should not have.
We just can't.
You know, I should start the chat again so I can do SMR.
I mean, why were we in Vietnam?
Technically SMR.
I've never gotten a solid answer of why we were in Vietnam to begin with.
Yeah.
Besides communism, but I mean
Manifest destiny.
Oh god, that's its own.
Oh god.
That's its own problem. But like even then, like why were we in Vietnam? Like for the reason of we wanted to stop communism. But it's like okay, but the USSR was like right there. So, South Korea, North Korea. I mean, all these things, they all have the common denominator that the U.S. was involved in something that they shouldn't have.
We're nosy. Like, as a country, we're nosy. And me, myself, as a person, I'm nosy as hell, too. I'm up with everybody's shit. I'm over here talking shit about the U.S., but literally, like, ooh, hey, Bree. What did she say? What did your email say? Huh? What are they talking about? What are they whispering?
You're so annoying. This is why I would not want to work with you.
Okay, the thing is that
I'd be like, supervisor.
Oh, my supervisor's like, what did you do? She knows I know.
Oh my god, okay.
Because she knows
My
I got
supervisor, he's annoying.
I got all the
Write him up.
She's like, what happened? I want you to tell me because I know you'll be honest. Because here's the thing. Like, I may be nosy and ask about a lot of things and want to know everything and have my, like, my spoon. I'm tasting everybody's food. But I mind my own business. You know what I mean? Like, even though
there you go.
I'm like, hey, Whitney, guess what this person said about you? Or, hey, blah, 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 I heard this, you know.
Got
like,
it.
I don't go, when I learn information, I don't go spread it. I just keep it to myself and come home and tell you so we can talk shit.
And then I just say, I just agree,
Holy
and
shit,
I'm
what the fuck,
hello.
dude, it gets deeper, what? This is crazy, dude.
Okay.
Imagine that this at night, fucking
So
creepy as fuck.
people with K-Roy, they typically did this to psychiatric patients and Guatemalan soldiers, and they did it through abrasions or rubbing inoculum, which is a small amount of substance containing bacteria.
I got it, there you go. Ow!
Into the skin on the
I gotta
back.
say it.
Infect an experimental animal. This is the definition that I got from like Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Like the things that they were doing to these people, like, you know what I mean? Like the definition doesn't even say people or animals. It's just animals. You wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like it's just.
I don't want the link to fuck it up on the camera. You can still see it here, so it's okay.
1,308 soldiers,
Okay.
prisoners,
Hey,
sex
what the
workers,
fuck is
and
that?
patients,
What?
ranging from the
Ooh.
ages of
Whoa,
10 to
you
72.
grow. Ooh, my face got bigger.
10
Cool.
to 72.
Oh, wow. Nervous laughter.
What the
Just
fuck?
nervous laughter.
Okay.
So that means
You gotta admit, that's pretty cool,
your
right?
sister, your cousin, and your queens, your grandma. It didn't matter. Anybody could have been infected with this. So, through my research, I kind of found like somebody
Nom, nom, nom,
summarized, I guess, the journals or the
Nom,
documents that were found of the testimony.
Did I do it right? Off.
I'm gonna read it to you. I'm
What?
gonna read it to you.
Yes.
So, Berta was a female patient in the psychiatric hospital. In February 1948, Berta was injected in her left arm with syphilis. A month later, she developed scabies, which is a skin infection caused by a microbe. Several weeks later, Dr. Cutler noted that she also developed red bumps where he had injected her arm, lesions on her arms and legs, and her skin was beginning to waste away from her body. Berta was not treated for syphilis until 3 months after her injection. Soon after, on August 23rd, Dr. Cutler wrote that Berta appeared as if she was going to die, but he did not specify why. The same day he put gonorrheal pus from another male subject into both of Berta's eyes, as well as into her urethra.
There you go, flip.
and rectum.
You gotta do it with a movement, because this thing
He
is
also
fucking
infected her with
flip.
syphilis. Several
No.
days later, Berta's eyes were filled with
Oh
pus
yeah, I got it.
and
Fuck
she was
yeah.
bleeding from her urethra. 3 days after that, on August 27th, Berta died.
And what was the point of all this? They just wanted to see what would happen.
Science.
They were just like, I wonder what would happen if I inject this person's eyes.
Like, I have no problem with, people doing scientific research for the better of, like, humankind.
Yeah.
But don't bulldoze through people on the way to get there, you know what I mean? Don't fucking infect hundreds of people with STDs or, like, whatever it is that you're trying to research.
Yeah.
To
If
get
there's,
the answer.
if there's something I learned and slightly remember from high school science classes, is that you need a control group and a hypothesis and the scientific theorem. And it looks like they just skipped all of those steps. And they're like, you know what? Fuck the scientific theorem. I'm gonna inject these people's eyes.
Yeah. Serology testing, which is a diagnostic examination of blood with a focus on the response of the immune system to pathogens or introduced substances, and spinal fluid samples were done in 5,128 people, some of whom were involved with the infection arm of the study. So pretty much all these people they mainly infected, and everybody that they maybe came into contact with. So it was only 1,308 that we know of that were directly
Wow, I
infected.
haven't even used that. Oh, that's cool.
Or
Okay.
the people that they had contact with.
Mm-hmm.
So it was about 5,128.
I still have
And
one of those.
obviously, at this point, like, they're not even, like you said, they're not following proper scientific procedure. So who knows if this 5,128 number is even accurate? It could have been thousands more. It could have been way more people. These tests lasted for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So the people that were
I
included
want
in
it.
the
Look, I
serology
didn't
were
know.
children as young as 1 year olds, people with leprosy, psychiatric patients,
Fuck.
and personnel stationed at the U.S. Station.
I got the right one. Whatever.
This phase of the research intended to
The bad.
diagnostic techniques
Bad
for
is the good.
STDs lasted until 1953. So the main infection
They doing some weird shit. Yeah, they are.
1946 to 1948. But they had to do damage control to stay with the island for a while after to treat the people that were there. He did it to show goodwill towards the Guatemalan government, but really it was to promote his prophylaxis study. And prophylaxis is just like a fancy word for preventative health, preventative medicine.
So was this like a way of saying like going into this country, infecting people, developing a drug, and then selling it to people?
Oh, it's in the
They
second level,
actually
I
just wanted
think.
to test the effectiveness
Okay, I think that's a
of,
level
the drugs that they
bottom.
already developed.
So I'm going. So the ocean is technically
A reported
space.
total of 83 people died.
Somebody tells you
So the
something.
exact reason that the people died during
Lower,
these experiments
okay.
remain unknown. So it's possible that out of these 83 people, some of them died because of old age, natural causes, or directly because of these experiments they were doing on them.
Got
It's
it.
not documented. They really didn't do their research how they were supposed to. The Guatemalan syphilis experiments, for the most part, remain unknown.
Lit.
Following the death of Dr. Cutler, American historian
Fuck
Susan
yeah.
M. Reverdy started an investigation of Dr. Cutler's the main reason she went searching through his documents was for for another experiment that Dr. Cutler was involved in called the Tuskegee syphilis study. And the Tuskegee syphilis study was the Public Health Service started working on the study in 1932 in collaboration with Tuskegee University and historically Black College. Investigators enrolled 600 impoverished Black American men from Macon County, Alabama. The men were given free medical care, meals, and free burial insurance for participating in the study. The men were told that the study was going to only last for 6 months, but it actually lasted for 40 years. After funding for the treatment was lost, the study was continued without informing the men that they would never be treated. None of the men were told that they had the disease, and none were treated with penicillin.
I think we got a
even after
boom,
it was proven to successfully treat syphilis. The victim of the study, all Black American, included numerous men who died of syphilis, 40 wives who contracted the disease, and 19 children born with congenital syphilis from 1932 to 1970. Yes.
I think I have heard of that. But, I mean, burial insurance. Why would they agree to something like that?
I think that's like,
if someone said, hey, I want you to do this experiment, by the way, it comes with your burial insurance.
Well, I think it was more of like, hey, be a part of this experiment, and here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do for you. We'll give you free medical treatment, and when you die, eventually, we'll give you money to so you can, so your family doesn't have to spend to bury you.
Like a dinosaur.
But I think
Oh my god, what the fuck?
What these people like not
Ay, kukuy!
like go up financially.
Go. That was scary as fuck. Where is it? How are you? Did I scare it?
Talk about how these were farmers. These were simple.
Señor, no soy de rancho.
It's like just say
Señor, yo no soy de allá arriba, la verga, ¿dónde fue? Oh fuck, I scared him.
It's very
Señor, I love you. Where are you? You see? Oh, there he is. Did I eat him? Oh,
I
creepy.
did put this in my notes, but out of the 600, I think like 200 and something of the people that were in the study had latent forms of syphilis. So they had.
Is he like a boss? I think he's like a boss. I'm meant to get these little things. Ah! That was scary as fuck. Ah, he went down. Fuck. No, I got him weak. It's not red no more.
Which was a colloquialism used in the South for.
He got mad. You saw that?
It wasn't anything specific.
Oh shit.
It was bad blood. They were treating for bad blood.
That sounds like coded language for like eugenics.
Yeah. This whole thing, this doctor, it makes me feel like he was specifically targeting people of color.
I feel uncomfortable.
Like they really hate us that much.
Nervous laughter.
Oh,
This episode is full of nervous laughter. Please continue.
Okay, so how that paperwork ended up at the
Come on, bitch. Come on.
University of Pittsburgh.
Oh, he got mad. He went down. Fuck.
All his study paperwork to the college because he taught there in the 1990s. So he was still alive and kicking around. This motherfucker.
Please tell me like he gets like charged with something and goes to prison.
Just listen.
Oh,
Spoilers.
spoilers.
Oh, no. So, like I said, Susan M. Reverby started the investigation on Dr. Cutler's original documents because he had passed away. He was dead at this point.
Fuck yeah.
So, sorry, and I didn't put that in my notes either, but yeah, at this point he had already passed away in the early 2000s. So he died sometime in the 90s, which I probably should have put in the notes. But, so Miss Reverby, after she did all this research, ended up sharing her findings. It took her a few years. She showed them the David Spencer, the former
Come on.
Then they were transferred to the federal government. The CDC acknowledges that,
Fuck you.
quote, the
Tired of
design
shit. Tired of shit. Get it.
Steps, including deliberate disclosure
No,
of
váyase a la verga. Pare de llorar a la verga. Váyase a la verga.
lack of knowledge of and consent for experimental procedures by study subjects, and the
Nah, come over here.
Vulnerable populations.
So they knew what they were doing.
They pretty much were saying that they targeted these people for a specific reason. It's like, I don't know if it was because they were people of color. I don't know if it was because they thought that they wouldn't say anything, or they could just keep it under wraps for a while. I mean, because obviously they did. These experiments happened in the 40s, and we didn't know about them until 10 years ago.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of classism and racism.
Yeah. In October 2010, the U.S. government formally apologized to the Guatemalan government.
Wow, I got it.
Following the apology, former President Barack Obama requested an investigation be conducted by the Presidential Commission for the Study of Bioethical Issues on November 24, 2011. So we made a full-ass commission to research this.
Holy shit.
What the commission is
Oh, that. I think I
an
went more
advisory
down.
panel of the nation's leaders in medicine, science, ethics, religion, and law, and engineering. And they get together and they confer about these things. So, they actually, what I
Fuck.
sources that I use.
Damn, I went like 2 steps down. Whoa, okay,
It
cool.
was called Ethically Impossible. It was like a 40-page document that pretty much talked about everything that happened in Guatemala, the Tuskegee experiment, and Indiana were mentioned in there as well. And so, and I actually got that from the Stanford website. So,
Ooh, look at
do a
you
little bit
using
of law research.
professional sources.
Yes.
I use Google.
Well, I use Wikipedia too.
Um,
That Stanford document was a little too smart people for me, so I needed something like dumbed down.
Can you
so
please dumb this down?
The Guatemalan syphilis experiments for dummies. I needed that book.
Yikes. Eugenics for dummies.
Where would I even get it now? Hastings is closed. Says me not even remembering that there's a bunch in there.
Please don't triangulate where we live. Don't do that.
Okay, so moving on. Although these events happened in the late 1940s, in 2011, 7 plaintiffs filed federal class action lawsuits against the U.S. government. The lawsuit asked for money to compensate for medical damages and life.
Flip.
And again, here it is.
No.
Because most of the families were living in poverty. And
It looks like faces right there.
The article made a point to mention that they were living in poverty. Like, what's the point of that? Like, we get it. Like, they're poor, and so it's just, I feel like they're victim blaming at this point. Like, they're saying they're asking for this money because they're poor.
Yeah. Hey, sorry we ruined your life. By the way, why do you want this money?
Fucking poor.
Because we ruined your life?
You're poor. Stop asking for money.
Hi, poor. That's what they said.
The case failed, actually. Yeah. A judge determined that the U.S. government could not be held liable for actions committed outside the U.S.
Okay, so fuck war crimes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was shook when I read that. I was like, are you
Wow.
fucking serious?
I mean, the logical response to something like that would have been acknowledged that the U.S. was responsible. But, I mean, the people that did it are not in power.
Yeah.
So fuck them. But still, at least acknowledge it.
Yeah.
The bare fucking minimum.
Bare minimum.
And they can
Whoa,
leave
is
it
that
here.
like a dragon? What the fuck?
Remember when we talked about this?
Whoa, this got weird. What? What in the fuck? That was weird.
Okay.
That was really crazy, right? They went down to another. What the fuck?
You
guys saw that, right? Oh my gosh, this game is such a trip.
Rockefeller Foundation seeking $1 billion for damages. So the
Wow, go to
difference
another
is,
level?
in these lawsuits,
They look like dragons,
they're
dude.
hoping they
What
can
the
obtain
fuck?
compensation by targeting rabbits.
What in the fuck? Oh shit! They went another level.
So holding
I'm gonna
these
get them
companies
fuck
liable
up.
instead of the U.S. government.
Yeah. Okay.
So after all this, the final report prepared in 1955 concluded that Orbis Nafarsin, oral penicillin, intravenous nafarsin, and calomel ointment were effective prophylactic strategies. Did I say that right? Strategies?
No, but that's okay.
What?
I understood you.
Thank you.
Did everyone else? I'm waiting for their response.
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand if you understood. Vote now on your phone.
Ah, fuck. Ah, get there you go.
Okay, so pretty much the thing that really just irritates me about this study is that they knew that penicillin already worked. At that point, that's what they found out in Terre Haute, Indiana. I keep saying that, but I don't know if I'm saying it right. But anyways, they knew that it worked.
I can't help you with that. I know it's the English pronunciation, but the French one would be Terre Haute.
Yeah, and that's not right.
Sorry.
This is America. Speak American.
Sorry about that.
So, they already knew that penicillin worked. What the fuck were they doing in Guatemala, infecting all these people?
Well, we never know.
They got him, yes!
Doing all this research, like
You saw that?
putting my heads together because I'm like, how do I do this justice? Like these poor Guatemalan people, some of them probably are still alive.
Oh yeah, this was not that long ago. I'm sure people are still alive feeling the impact of things like this. Like the first episode when we talked about
They almost got him.
the village in the Atacama Desert, like those people's ancestors are still alive today.
Yeah.
Like things that happen in history don't just die with the person. Like that leaves an effect for centuries. Like we still talk about the Holocaust. Like that happened decades ago, but that almost 100 years, almost 80 years ago. I think that still has an effect on people.
Attack! Boom! 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 Oh, fucker!
I don't remember if it was you guys listening to a podcast or we were watching a YouTube video, and the person said that they were shook at the fact that when they looked at it, that there were less Jewish people living in the world now than there was before World War II. That is how many Jewish people they killed during World War II.
Oh yeah, that was the vocal fries.
Oh yeah,
It's a linguistics podcast.
I was like,
I love that.
I didn't realize that, but when I looked it up, the statistics, it was like there were more Jewish people alive before the Holocaust happened, and now it's like a fraction. Yeah, they killed so many Jewish people, a fraction.
Pissed him off, right? Got him! Oh, god dang it.
Shout out to the vocal fries.
He got my tail.
If you guys
No,
like to listen to podcasts, I mean-
fucker. I'm gonna get him.
Sorry, continue.
I mean, I'm done. This was the Guatemalan syphilis experiments.
Good job.
Oh wait.
Oh, okay.
I need to talk about. My sources were ethically impossible. The document that was given to the president, the ex-president of the United States, Barack Obama. So,
Heard of it.
Guatemalan syphilis experiments written by Kara Rogers for Encyclopedia Britannica and the Wikipedia page titled Guatemalan syphilis experiments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks. I was going to say you're welcome, but you didn't say thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the knowledge.
Okay, so what do you have for us today?
Well, hold on. Can we get like a palate cleanser first? Let's talk about me.
Okay, let's do it. What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. It's
Okay,
just
I just
like
want to clarify that you were complaining about how long the podcast is getting and how much you have to edit.
Yeah, because I have to edit.
Yeah, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I barely know how to work my computer.
Well, I feel like your subject was kind of heavy shit, so let's take a few seconds to talk about something else instead.
Okay.
The only thing keeping me sane through this quarantine is Animal Crossing.
Send us your friend codes.
Or don't.
No, do it.
No.
I want friends. Can I visit your islands? I want your pictures.
Oh my god.
And Super
Oh, I didn't get him. Fuck. He's pissed off,
yesterday,
dude.
well, you caught me, but I was watching bloopers on YouTube.
You were watching them this morning.
No, it wasn't. I was watching the show this morning.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you guys should totally check out Superstore. It's on Hulu.
Attack!
In case you're feeling down. World of
Oh, fuck! I thought I had him.
Okay, so I work
Nope,
on, like,
I guess not.
goals, and I feel like obviously goals didn't say like but a lot of like the customers like the ridiculous ass shit they ask for and do is things that would happen in goals. So it's so accurate. Like I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I've never worked a retail job, but I feel like it would be very similar. Like, obviously the show's dramatized, but I feel like those dramatizations are based on some reality.
They're based on what?
Like,
Oh, heck.
we were watching with the two twins
That's fucking amazing.
that were crying. Like, what? Or the guy carrying the pig and the baby carrier.
Like,
Anyway,
was
just
that episode that you were watching earlier today? They were like taking pictures of ridiculous ass shit people were wearing.
Of
and they were-
customers, yeah.
Of customers, and they were making like a contest out of it to see who could get the weirdest dressed customers. Like,
Yeah.
that's people at Walmart.com right there.
Ah, dude, he went down another level. Fuck
Is
that
that-
guy.
I haven't been on that
Fucking
website
Dragon
in a
Brain.
really long time. I wonder if it's still up.
It might not be. So in case it's not,
We're all the
R.I.P.
dragons.
R.I.P. to that
I
website.
do not like going to Superstore Walmarts here. in
Wizard. The
Every
wizard.
time I go to
Wizard.
Walmart, I feel like I get in a fight with someone.
What do?
It's either I'm
Got
not
my
walking
booty
fast
hole.
enough or I'm on my phone, and I always snap back. I'm not gonna stay quiet. What are they gonna do?
And no offense, but I feel like most of the people I see there are insane on the same level.
Oh my god. What are they called?
They're juggalos.
Juggalos, yeah. Juggalos and juggalos. That's the meeting place. Walmart is the meeting
I hope
place of
people
the
do not
juggalos
take
and
offense to
juggalos.
that, but like juggalos scare me.
Oh my god.
They get that tattoo of that hatchet guy on them. That's like the people that I see at Walmart
Guy.
that are like, Rain, come here. Quit opening that ham and eating it in the aisle. It's like,
Ew.
what the fuck? I'm like, I need to go. I'm gonna go to Target. I'm just gonna go to Target next time. Just
Yeah.
order my groceries online and just pull up and get them dropped off in my car.
Yeah. Insane Posse always reminds me of Hollywood Undead.
I have no idea what that is.
Is that the name of it? There was a guy I had a crush on that listened to that, and I remember he bought the CD and he hid it, like, we were driving to the mall, and then afterwards he like took the CD out and like hid it in his pants or something, and then he's like, my parents can't see me listening to this, and I'm
Oh,
like, dude,
yes.
I don't think you should show anybody that you're listening to that.
Oh god. I now want to look up Hollywood Undead and see what they're all about.
Don't.
Like, oh my God, what were the other ones? The guy. The
Ah,
pirate
fucking
song.
dragon, there you are. Attack! Attack,
Yeah,
dragon.
now
Oh, he went down there again.
it's like fucking little kids.
Oh, Blood on the Dance Floor.
Blood on the dance floor. There we go.
Oh, it's okay, don't fucking judge me, but I used to listen to
I know.
that. I'm kind of glad, like, my depression just cleared my memory of anything that happened in 2000 before 2008. But those are the few straggling memories that I still remember, and I'm like, I cringe every fucking time I think about them. I'm like, God, what the fuck is wrong with me?
I remember. I feel like I have the memory of
Oh,
the lady was like,
man.
it's like, "You too, babe."
Wow, what the fuck? What? I want that. What is that? What the fuck? What? What? The fuck?
Yeah, like you can't sleep.
I used
Okay.
to do that, but then I
Now I'm a jellyfish.
the older I get.
What?
What did I do
This is so
yesterday?
weird.
I have depression.
I'm in Nirvana because that's Rose.
You would think it
I
would
think
be
it's
the
Nirvana, right? It's Rose.
Well,
It's
anyway,
Nirvana, but like,
enough
what the
of
fuck
the
do I have
palate
to do now?
cleanser.
Yes.
So,
Okay,
my
I'm
topic,
gonna go. Okay, I spin around and I
but
float.
it's the Holy
Oh,
that
I'm a
episode of,
molecule.
Thank You
That
for
makes
Breaking Free that you were
sense.
watching?
Okay, what do I do?
Yeah,
I'm just
Sorry for
filming.
interrupting.
So Destination Truth was one of
What
my
the fuck do I
sources
do?
that I used. I did.
Okay, I didn't
try
expect to win this
watching
game
the
that
first Adventures
fast.
episode of this. I think
I
it was
really
two
did not
episodes
expect it to win this fast.
But I just couldn't. I couldn't. Too much hair gel.
Too much hair gel, yeah.
Listen to us instead. Instead of watching that show, listen to us. Less hair gel.
I feel like Zach Bagans has never grown
Less
out
hair
of
gel.
that Ed Hardy phase. Like he's still wearing
Okay.
Ed Hardy.
He looks like a.
I gotta spin my wheel. Oh, right. Like clockwise, counterclockwise.
I think like people like him are like a
Okay, and then this
subculture
one.
of that same brand of culture. Like they
What the
deviated
fuck?
away from each other.
What?
Yes. They're a subculture.
I start all over again.
Instead of listening to music when he works out, he
That's
listens
some
to
bullshit.
No. I feel like he
What?
listens to like.
And then I'm out. Oh my god.
Oh, and I think
Well, I beat this game in 40 minutes. I feel pretty good about that. This game's actually pretty relaxing, actually. Like 40 minutes is a good
Thank you.
time.
Okay, so
Recommend it.
as I mentioned, my subject is the Hoibashi Forest.
Because you're never gonna,
So-
yeah, you start out over,
Sources for-
and then they make you click here and this one at the same time. So you can activate your
Oh,
third.
yeah. Okay.
Alright, it's good. There's some
My
fucking
sources
smart.
are an independent news article by
So yeah,
Sophie
you guys play.
Atlas Obscura article, Travel Awaits article by
Oh no, it
Kevin
keeps going,
Bissell,
okay.
a few articles
Now I can become
on
the Jenny
Hoibashi.com, so
What?
convenient, it has its own website.
What the
YouTube
fuck
video
do I
by The
want?
Curious World, posted by Bridget Barbara.
Oh, I'ma load this.
And a YouTube video
Oh.
by Paradrone.
And then, okay, and
Posted by
then
Josh Gates.
you have to, oh my god. Oh, they make you do all that sequence so I can do this?
The Hoibashi
What the
Forest,
fuck?
the remaining name of it is Perdura Hoya. It's located a few kilometers west
You saw
of
that? Like, I
Pennsylvania,
have to
Pennsylvania,
like that.
the western part of Romania. And the forest spans about 729 acres in the Albosani mountain foothills.
Okay, it starts
So
all
it's
over
about a
again.
20-minute drive from
Okay.
the city. The forest was named after a shepherd that went missing in the
Okay,
area
does the
with his
music
flock of
change? I
200
wonder.
sheep. So the flock and him went into the forest and they just never came out.
How many acres is this forest?
729.
Okay.
I don't know what an acre is. So I'm like, oh, that's a big number. Oh,
Minnesota.
that's a big number. So it's known as the Bermuda Triangle.
Look,
of
it has a
Romania,
little
and
tail.
it's
You
also known as
see
the
it?
most haunted
I
forest
see
in
it.
Europe.
It has a little tail.
So
It's
locals
kinda cute.
believe the forest
You can
to
see
be
where they're gonna
cursed,
swim. They're
and
gonna
some have
swim
said that it's the home of the devil.
Is this different from the Black Forest?
Yes,
Okay.
the Black Forest is in Germany.
Okay.
It's like the Schwarzwald, maybe? I may be saying that. So trees in the forest grow warped or misshapen. If you were to Google like misshapen trees in Hoibachi Forest, I think some of the pictures come out are of like trees that look like jays, but that
Anyways, I already
forest is
beat the
actually in
game.
Poland, and I think those trees were intentionally planted like that.
I'm gonna take a
Just
break.
a heads up.
But
But near the near the
Yeah, 'cause,
southwestern
like,
corner
I already
of the
beat the game.
forest is a
This
area
game,
known as the clearing.
I recommend it
Guayana Utumba. It's
if
a
you wanna
cultivated area
relax.
where nothing but grass grows.
'Cause it's
and
making me
allegedly
sleepy
scientists
and
don't
I
know
slept.
why trees don't grow in the clearing. The soil has been
I already
analyzed
won.
multiple times with no reasons as to why that would be happening. What? What did you say? I used to
I can't exit.
I wanted to say peculiar, quite peculiar.
The fuck?
It's just like
It's so weird. Like, it either makes you go more up.
I don't know why we were talking like the other day about an episode of Family Guy.
I already beat it.
I can say all 50 states in a
Wow,
second.
okay.
Like, ah!
Yeah, I'm just gonna stop the broadcast.
Yeah, I remember that. Want me to say all 50 states in a second? Ah. Okay, so some paranormal stuff. Some people say that the clearing is a portal to another dimension, while others claim that the energy there can be harnessed to fulfill wishes. So a lot of Wiccans and Satan worshippers often visit the area to harness the energy of the clearing. I don't know what they do there. So there are local stories from the forest, like local people. A local story of a 5-year-old girl who went missing in the forest, only also killed 5 years later.
So when you enter the game, you can't exit or anything. Because it's a flow. You just enter it, you leave when you want, and there's no right or bad way to play it.
Yeah, so it was
And
a 5-year-old girl
even when
went
you
into the
finish the
forest,
game,
she
you just
disappeared,
keep
but
going
she
on
came
and
back
until you
5
feel
years
good.
later.
So I really
Some
like
versions
this
of the
concept
story
of
say
the
that she
fucking
came from the
game.
forest with the same forest
Yeah.
she disappeared in.
And they're pretty good. I already beat it, so I ain't gonna stop.
Some
For real on the
versions also
broadcast.
say
It's already made me
that she
just
completely
sleepy with the
changed her
music.
demeanor and became a darker person.